We're talking today with Kayla Ziel of Ziel Bridal, asking some of the hair and makeup questions that we commonly get asked as a planner. And so Kayla's going to be the one to answer that for us since she's the expert. Kayla, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for having me today. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
My name is Kayla and I own Ziel Bridal. So we are wedding hair and makeup. We exclusively just work weddings. So kind of our specialty, our expertise, it's what we love to do, working with all couples. And yeah, so I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I feel like getting hair and makeup professionally done is not something that, yes, you'll get, a lot of people get their hair done, obviously, but for special occasions, it's not something that people have done very often in their lives. And so we always get a lot of questions about it. And so I just kind of want to get some of the common ones out of the way, let you answer them.
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
Wonderful. Well, obviously, the first and foremost is why should someone hire a professional hair and makeup artist for their wedding day?
Yeah. So there's a lot of factors that go into this. Our main one is making sure that you have a great wedding morning experience. So a lot of planning goes into, the photos, the reception, the ceremony, but what about that morning? How do you want to set the stage for that? So, what we do is we really create your entire morning timeline from the time we arrive for setup, the time we start services, the time we end services as well. So really making sure that you have a great flow to the wedding morning, that nobody's going to run behind and you can just relax. So that's going to be something when, you work with a company that, they really specialize in weddings. They really, it's nice to just have a morning, like your wedding morning it's going to be relaxed and fun and enjoyable and you're not stressing. Making sure that, your hair and makeup is going to last all day. There's so many different, makeup products that you can use out there. So, making sure that you're going to look and feel beautiful in person, but it's also going to show up correctly on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, film and camera and photos and all of that is a big deal. So, there's a lot of different kind of things that you have to know there. What else? You're going to get that professional guidance. So, we work with a lot of brides, and I think, just being able to kind of get guidance and as far as, what's going to complement your skin tone, your eye colors, your face shape, the texture of your hair, what's going to work best so that you don't go into your wedding morning like, I found this picture and this is what I want, but I didn't have a professional telling me, well, okay, let's tweak it to really be specific to you. So you're going to get that really like that one-on-one work that is going to make sure that you look flawless and you feel really comfortable.
Yeah. And if there's ever going to be a day that you're going to pamper yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, the experience is going to make sure, it's going to be professional. It's going to be fun and relaxing and you can just sit back and enjoy it. You're not running around, rushing around. And then, just making sure you have somebody who's really going to make sure everything is flattering. It's going to last all day. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it just really, I think you had a lot of great points and I think, another thing is that couples, brides and couples and bridesmaids, they're not used to being photographed and on video all day and having, someone kind of in their face with a camera all day.
Yes.
The camera can probably kind of be unforgiving on some things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so funny because, when we talk about, people want that Instagram makeup where I'm like, it photographs very well and you look really good in your Instagram photos, but then take that into real life and it's very cakey. It's very heavy. It doesn't look like you. So there's a happy medium. You have to know what's going to look great on camera, but make sure you look really good in person.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's a huge, huge thing that we kind of see and that we deal with.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So you were kind of saying how talking about the morning and creating that good experience starting the day off. So what typically causes hair and makeup to run long or not go well, run behind. Sometimes when we're getting there on the day of, we may not get there until noon, and like, okay, it's noon and hair and makeup should be just finishing, and we're getting there, and they still have 3 people to go, and it's like, what happened?
What happened? Yes.
What happened, Kayla?
And it's I hear this all the time because I'm like, so the biggest thing is going to be planning on our part.
Yeah.
And that is, so what we do is, we need to know, it's not just what time can you get into the venue, because a lot of the time what we ran into is people like, okay, we can start services at 9 a.m. Okay, well, we can get into the venue at 9 a.m., which means then we have to set up, make sure you guys, the couples and the bridesmaids, they get relaxed, they can get all their stuff in, and then we start services. So there's actually, that 20-30 minutes right there that would be if you don't account for that. And then also making sure that everybody comes ready. So when, we send out a sheet of, hey, here's, send this to all your bridesmaids, make sure everybody comes prepared the morning of, don't have wet hair, clean, dry hair, and making sure that you have a clean face, no residual makeup. That's going to save a lot of time. So I think, before we used to send out kind of, please be prepared like this so your day goes very smoothly. We would see a lot of people show up and they're like, I just got out of the shower, like I'm ready. And you're like, no, girl, no, because we didn't plan for the extra, 30-40 minutes of blow drying, kind of a thing. Or what else? I had one other thing. Adding in buffer time to, so it's not only are we going to make sure everybody getting services has their own time slot, we're going to make sure, that it's extended just a little bit longer, for that, the person that they do have a lot of hair, that we weren't, kind of ready for. And then at the end also, when you're like, okay, we need to start photos, we need to be ready by noon. Well, what usually that means is photos start at noon. So your services need to end at 11:30, because then you need time to get dressed, get your shoes on, get your jewelry, kind of all those little touch-up things before, your actual first look and things start. So kind of keeping those in mind of actually how the wedding morning flows and all those little details that people kind of forget about makes a big, big difference.
Yeah. Well, and we always kind of tell people too, because depending on how early you have to start, like if you have a friend who's a bridesmaid who is habitually late for everything, like don't have her be first.
No. Yeah. And, we're it's okay. If we get a lot, like, okay, she's a nursing mom. She's not going to go right away, or this, we can always, we're going to work around schedules. And even on the day of, if we have to move and switch people's time slots, like we're going to make sure that we make it work. So we leave enough of that buffer time. So,
and I would imagine, like anything, the more details that you have, the better. Like if you know that, okay, you have the bride, she has mid-length brunette hair that's going to go in a full updo. Maid of honor is a total redhead who has wiry hair, and she wants it all down but super curled, and mom's just got mom's got really short hair and she just wants a style. I suppose, like, even that, the more detail that they give you, that can help you decide how long to have for everybody.
Absolutely. So the way that that I train all of our artists, we do so like 30-minute styles and updos, but we schedule them out for 40 minutes so that we can, the person who does have all of that hair. But it's really about just kind of the skill and technique, and just really, training yourself and knowing that, because in most salons, you are trained to do an hour to an hour and a half updos. We don't have that kind of time on a wedding day. So you really have to make sure, that your timing is down, that you get the training you need to have a very successful morning, making sure, you're not taking an hour for every person.
Yeah. No, that's a super good point. Awesome. So, so then as far as, so really then just being, for potential clients or who are booking you, what you'll want to know is how many people want hair, how many people want makeup, what kind of services ideally they're looking for. So then you can kind of help make up a schedule, and then just make sure that they're communicating for the day of, how to be prepared, and that's going to be the best way to get started off on the right foot.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. And I mean, one of the main questions is always, make sure you know what time can you enter the venue, or you're getting ready location. What time can you enter? That's a big question I think a lot of brides miss. And so they always kind of have to come back to me, and I'll reach out and let you know. So if you can get that right off the bat, that's a great one.
Okay. Awesome. So, so kind of knowing, how much time things take, probably having a hair and makeup trial is probably pretty important, I'm guessing. So do you want to talk a little bit about why hair and trial makeups are so important? Because I'm sure some people are like, oh, why do I need to have that? Because they're just going to come say, I get my hair and makeup done all the time.
Absolutely. So I think number one, it is a day, like literally all eyes are on you. The camera is on you. The recording is on you. You're making a video, and it's your day to really, really feel like your absolute best. Mm-hmm. And that looks different for a lot of people. And it's so funny because there are a lot of brides and couples, and they want, I don't wear a ton of makeup every day. I don't think I need a trial. I don't want much makeup. But those are actually the brides who always need trials. Mm-hmm. When you're not used to wearing makeup on a day-to-day basis, a little bit to us is very different to a little bit of what you feel it, for amount of makeup. Yep. For amount of makeup. And so, trials are going to make sure that we go into your wedding morning and you feel confident. You get to meet your artist beforehand, work with them, one-on-one. And again, it's going to be really those, just that really custom look that you work together with, so that we can see what your skin tone, your face shape, what kind of hair texture that you have, how does your hair hold a curl, how does it react to the products. So when we get to the wedding day, then we can make adjustments, and it's, I loved my hair, but I want a few more tendrils around my face. Mm-hmm. Or, I loved my makeup, but I want a little bit more eyeliner. So after your trial, it's amazing to be able to just wear it around for the day. And get a feel for it. Take pictures of yourself in different lighting. Make sure you feel super confident and comfortable.
Plan a date night after your trial.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That's the best thing you can do, is get out, make sure you feel so confident so that you can come into the morning. You have no fears, you have no worries. Because that's a huge, one of the biggest things we hear is, I'm the most nervous about my hair and makeup. I don't know how it's going to go. So it's, it's going to get rid of any fear you have.
Yeah. The last thing that we want to happen too, as a planner, because I've seen it happen, is let's say, they're getting ready at a hotel in the morning, and then they get to the venue, and I go in to check on them, and what I will see is the bride scrubbing her makeup off because she's like, no. I need it, or like putting more curls in, or redoing her hair because she got to the venue and decided she hated everything, and because they hadn't done a trial, and then there's an hour out of our lives while we're
absolutely. Yeah, it's something, it's going to put you at ease, and something you shouldn't have to worry about on the wedding morning. So trials, we definitely,
they're worth their weight in gold.
yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, so finally, speaking of gold, which brings me to money, a lot of questions we get asked from clients is, how does that work? How do we handle payment? What do I do? Who pays for it? So I know you have some different scenarios, so I'll let you go ahead and talk about those.
Yeah. So payment for services is a question that we also get a lot. Does a bride pay for it? Do the bridesmaid pay for it? And it can kind of go any way. So, make sure that you know what your budget's going to be. What we have seen, and kind of what we kind of recommend, if a bride is going to require that their bridesmaids, they have to get hair and makeup, then usually a bride will pay for it. If the bride is giving them the option to choose if they want to do hair and or makeup, then the bridesmaids will usually pay for it. And also what we'll see is, a bride can pay for just a portion of it. So that's going to be, if they want that to be kind of like their gift for being a part of the wedding, That works really well too, where maybe the bride doesn't have it in her budget to pay for everybody's services, but maybe they'll just do hair or just do makeup.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would say a majority of the time bridesmaids pay for their own services. Um,
Yeah. And are they
yeah.
paying for that? Are they paying for that ahead of time or on the day of, or what does that typically look like for you?
Yes. Yep. So we want to make sure, like, when we get to the wedding morning, that everything is smooth and it flows and everything is a really good vibe for everyone. So we do all payments beforehand. So we do take all payment from the bride. It creates just kind of a lot more chaos when we ended before, when we used to take payments from bridesmaids. So because the bride is the contract holder with us, then she's going to be responsible for making the payment. So we do a 50% deposit, and then the other 50% is due 2 weeks before the wedding day. And then what we usually recommend, have the bridal party will Venmo the bride what their payment's going to be. And then the bride has an actual way of, going back and looking who's paid her and who hasn't.
Mhm.
So when we would split up the invoice individually, we had no way of knowing, okay, what bridemaid actually paid for her services. And then it would leave remaining balances. And then the bride would have to take care of it. So, yeah, so it just ended up being a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Just, yep. So we just kind of work with the bride on all payments.
Yeah, and I imagine once again on the morning of the wedding, like trying to be like, okay, who's, I need
Yeah.
cash from, I need $100 from this one, and you only paid half, and I need 50 from you, or yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
It
that's
was it was it
just
was very, very chaotic. And because once the person gets up out of the chair, we're like, wait, who paid? Who didn't pay?
yeah,
Like, where did that person go? Like, wait, that person never came back. And then, there's so many things going on in the morning that it really slips their mind of,
yeah,
like, oh yeah, I have to, I was going to go get the money and come back. So it's like, it's so much easier. It's one less thing to have to worry about on the wedding morning. It works really, really nice.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, how do you handle it if, let's say, you know, the let's say one of the bridesmaids for whatever reason decided not to get hair done, or one of the moms wasn't going to get hair done, and then either like a couple of days before or maybe even the day of the wedding, they're sitting there when everybody else is having fun and getting their hair and makeup done. They're like, well, I want my hair and makeup done
right. So we do, which we have that happen a lot. I mean, it's, a lot with makeup, when they're like, oh wow, like, this looks really good. Like, so what we do, we'll wait till the end. We'll just make sure that we have the time to do it, and we're more than happy to add that on. At that point, we'll either have them pay right then. Is typically what we'll do, is they'll pay for the services then, or we can invoice the bride. So a lot of the time, if they wanted to do add-ons of false lashes or airbrush foundation, we'll end up, the bride just wants us to invoice her for those things, and she's going to take care of it. But yeah, usually, trying to
yeah,
see, adding on in the morning, on the wedding day, that's pretty easy.
yeah,
Um, and I would say, we do, if somebody wants to cancel services, they have until 30 days before the wedding date
yeah.
to get those canceled. I mean, sometimes it's a by case basis of, somebody, they got really, really sick. I remember somebody, I think they went into labor and they couldn't do it. I mean, there's the circumstances where, like, they couldn't be a part of the wedding day anymore. And we really work with them. We don't want to take, your money for not doing the services.
Mhm.
But then again, if they do decide to cancel, then, they still have to pay for the services, but they can transfer it to another person. So whether it be, yeah, like an aunt, an attendant, flower girl, a wedding guest, somebody else can step in and be able to make sure that they get those services.
Awesome, awesome. And then how do you guys typically handle gratuity or tipping?
Yeah, so that's a good one. So I think what a lot of people will notice, most hair and makeup companies in Minneapolis, they have a required 15 to 20% gratuity on top of all their pricing. And we don't do that. So, the pricing is really what you get with us. And we really believe, if we're deserving, if we did a great job, then, we're always accepting gratuity. And so it's usually cash or Venmo on the wedding day, but it's not something, we're not going to go into this thinking, we have to get the gratuity. It's, it's nice when it happens. And if it doesn't, we're okay with that, because we're going to, I'm going to make sure that, our girls are paid properly. They can still make a living wage, and they're not going to, be living off of these tips. So, yeah, we like to just be super transparent with the brides, and, what our pricing is and everything like that. So yeah, we just, yeah, we got rid of that required gratuity, and it feels better.
Yeah, yeah, and a thank you note and a nice review can go a long way as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like yeah, we love getting little thank you cards after from our brides. And
Mhm.
yeah, reviews are always amazing. We love them.
Yeah, fun. So my final kind of question for you. So when you're working with a coordinator or planner, like how does working with one help do your job better? What, either from pre-planning the day or even on the day of?
Yes. I think my favorite part is that we get a really nice, relaxed bride. So,
Mhm.
I mean, she knows like things are taken care of. Her morning, she's not running around. She's not having to, tell people where they need to be, what they need to do. They're not answering 100 questions from 100 people. Well, she's trying to get ready and relax and just enjoy the time with her friends and family. And it's so special to just, to get that bride. And she's so in her zone and loving it, and it sets her tone. And I love that. I love when a bride can work with a planner, and she just has nothing to worry about. Um, and then also it really helps us for, when we do know that timeline later in the day. So I think a lot of the time having that planner is going to, just keep the bride's mind at ease, and
And I
trying to
feel
see.
like, and we, because we do timelines a lot, I think we will help
Yes.
you come up with a realistic one. With,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm like timelines. Yeah, you guys as planners and coordinators, like we're so grateful that you guys are there to really get those details. And it's nice because most of the time, we're also going to get emailed, their whole day, very detailed day of what the couple's days, wedding day is going to look like. And I mean, that helps to really, help us to put our itinerary together and make sure that it's going to flow with yours. So everybody's on the same page.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And with our timeline, like ours is so detailed, it's like, okay, day before you're checking into your hotel room,
Yes.
text your hair and makeup person what room you're in. And then,
I love yours. I do. I do. I'm like, oh, because a lot of the time you can always tell it's, a bride that has, planning or coordinator, they reach out and they're like, this is the hotel room we're in, like this is where we'll be. And it's just kind of one less thing for us to, showing up at 9 a.m. and it's like, oh wait, what room are you in? So
where do we
um
go?
yeah, absolutely. There's a secret hallway in the back, and we would never know that without you.
And we remind them to eat and drink water.
Yes, that makes a big difference too. Yeah, no, we absolutely love when, we get to work with you and your company, and just you guys work so hard. You put so much into a wedding day, and it helps our jobs, it helps everybody. It's so much easier, so much, it just flows great.
Oh, well,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
all you do. Yeah.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate when our couples come to you because we know that they're going to look really good.
Well, thank you.
Ready
Thank you. I love
well,
that. Thank you.
fabulous. Yeah. Well, Kayla, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I think this is a lot of great information. Like I said, that just on a subject that no matter what your situation is like in life, you're not going to get your hair and makeup professionally done like that too often. So I think it's just kind of a real gray area for some people. So this has been really helpful. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yes. So thank you so much for your time today. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.